Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Earlier today, I was scheduled to have a call with a person that I knew from many years back when I was still in the army in Singapore. I trust this guy. I also can see from his professional background that he knows what he's doing. He came up to me about 2 weeks ago and proposed that we work together on a project that he has in mind. I was skeptical at first, but then I realized after looking at his business plan that it made good sense. I think there was a market opportunity based on the thing that he is trying to target. For context, I am trying my hand at building stuff solo. This is my 8th month trying to do this. And so far, I have earned 13 euros from a recurring subscription for 2 months on a language learning app. Back to this guy from the army. We were supposed to have a call, and I effectively got cold feet because this call was supposed to kind of formalize the partnership that he and I are going into. We were discussing who's going to be majority shareholder, how are we going to split the equity, and what's next in terms of building and so on. And the cold feet that I felt, I think, came from the fact that I've been in this tech industry for the last 10 years, and I know that finding a co-founder and going into business with a co-founder is effectively marrying that person for the next 5 years or so. And I'm not sure I'm ready to do that, especially now that we are in this AI era and there is a little bit of a gold rush when it comes to application developers having a real chance at building meaningful AI-powered applications. I'm just at the beginning of exploring these things, even though it's been 8 months. And it's basically a lot of fun, what I'm doing with the solo development stuff. And I'm not sure I'm ready to give all that up to go into a partnership where I no longer answer only to myself, but also to my co-founder and also to potential investors. I just think that the opportunity cost is really high. It's like walking through a door and then all the other rooms suddenly disappear and you're no longer allowed to go to other rooms. It's kind of like that. Or like you only have one home, right? You always go back to the same home. I feel like company building in a way where you are having co-founders just really only works if you're all in. And when I compare that to building solo, it's quite different. I can work on multiple apps at the same time. So I have a lot of thoughts in my head about what exactly triggered me to pause and say like, hey, hold on, I can't really have this call with you today to discuss our partnership because I'm getting cold feet. The point is that if I know myself and I'm true to myself, I have to admit that I don't really want to go deep into one thing and stay with it. I don't think I have the staying power to work on one project idea for a long time. I'm also not worried, on the other hand, of the opposite, where I basically can only build projects and never bring it to market. Because Utionary is one of the examples that it's the first iOS app that I've built, and it's the first project I've built after graduating, or not graduating, after quitting my job as a software engineer. And I brought it to fruition, right? Like I went from idea all the way to execution to bringing it to market, and it's live on the App Store, and I've gotten one paying subscriber. So it's not that I can't do them, I can, right? And I've proven to myself that that's something that I can do. I have this table drawn on Excalibur, 3 columns. First column says anchor contextual design. This is the one that's giving me cold feet because it requires a commitment of 3 to 5 years. Then there's the middle column, which is I do it my way column. That's what I'm doing right now and just have to continue doing it. It's not SaaS products, it's micro SaaS. So the commitment is not 3 to 5 years, but rather something like 6 to 12 months to get it to a stable point, and hopefully it runs by itself. Then there's a third column, which is I work for smart people. That's companies like OpenAI, Mistral AI, Meta, Google. That's employment. That's where I came from in the last 10 years. That's my last resort, to be completely honest, because I left for a reason. There are really a few confounding reasons. I think time commitment is one, like being tied down 3 to 5 years at this very special moment in human history, in technology's history, feels like a very high price to pay. It feels like locking yourself into something when it's beautiful outside. Then there is the fact that when you are working with partners, you are answerable to them. On top of being answerable to customers and partners and so on, you're answerable to your co-founder, you're answerable also to the investors and the shareholders. So there is a mix of own decision making and also doing other people's bidding. Whereas if in the middle column, where I do it my own way, where I'm building things like Album, Winnow, Quotas, and Usionary, these are things that I've built so far, I get to make my own decisions, always. And for me, this is quite important, to be completely honest. So how does one go about deciding this? How am I thinking about what the next step should be? Should I continue down this path of doing it my way, or should I actually think of partnering up, or even going back to employment? I think the answer is not clear, and that's a good thing generally. It means that I'm not desperate for any of these pathways. I'm still in a position where I can choose. So that's the first thing. With that out of the question, I have to say that I'm most enticed to just continue doing it my way. And the main reason for that is that I have noticed how much I've grown in ways that I just never got to grow when I was doing it the previous ways. I've never really worked or co-partnered anyone as a co-founder role before, so I don't know for sure what happens there. It could really go well, but when working for smart people, so like working for big companies, I don't really get autonomy enough to do things my way, and I feel like I'm usually pretty stifled when it comes to pursuing things that I'm interested in. So in the last 8 months, I've really enjoyed that aspect of just being able to determine on a day-to-day basis what I'm going to be working on. There's definitely a lot left to learn in terms of how to structure my time properly. I'm not super natural at that. I tend to go from this thing to that thing and then that thing and then this thing. Not super disciplined in that sense when I'm given full autonomy. But I'm loving it because like I said, I've grown the ladder to L7 when it comes to this arbitrary chart of how to use AI to build things. I can confidently tell you that this prototype that we built for Anchor, I could prototype it in a matter of 2 hours, right? I could prove or disprove something in 2 hours. And that's not something that was possible before AI. And that's still not possible for some people who are just beginning to use AI with or without technical knowledge. So I'm proud of that. And I don't think I would get to that point if I were already occupied in a full-time job with deliverables that are given to me top-down. There are also cross-functional skills that I'm starting to build up, like design. Right now, I'm pretty deep into trying to pick up and improve my design skills. What I mean by that is just having better taste for what makes functional design, what makes something aesthetically pleasing and has good vibes. With like most people, I think I can enjoy good vibes, I can sense it, but I cannot produce it. And now I'm trying to train that to be able to produce things by paying a lot more attention, giving it a lot more time during work hours. Okay, so now I'm gonna admit to you something that I don't quite know how it fits in yet, but it might. Let's see how it goes. I have been suffering from crippling anxiety for the last 4 years, maybe 5 years. I don't know exactly when it started, but I was definitely employed during that period. I was also employed before that onset. I was never really anxious as a person. I would, of course, get nervous if I had to get in front of 100 people and deliver a speech. But even so, I would not freeze up. I would not go completely red and be unable to speak more than a few words at a time, which is what is happening now, even for small team meetings. I got a panic attack, essentially. My heart was beating really, really fast. My head was racing with all kinds of mostly negative thoughts. And I just spiraled to the point where when it came my turn to speak, I could not speak up at all. My throat tightened so much that I simply could not get the words out. And that was a horrible feeling. It was very embarrassing. And it just made me feel terrible about myself. And this has repeated over the last couple of years. I tell you this story because I think there was, at some point in my life, something that broke. When I look back at it, I think it's because of employment. I think it's because of the environment that employment put me in and how unsuitable it is for who I am. I think I'm someone that likes to take initiatives and take the lead on ideas and just go do things. I don't really like the rituals of having to report to people, having people report to you, having meetings to talk about this and that. I think a lot of it is really silly. It's a kind of a ritualistic waste of time. It's a feel-good ritual, not so much a productive ritual. But at the same time, I also recognize that you need it because when people work together, you just need a coordination overhead. It's just unavoidable. I find it strange because I'm perfectly comfortable to talk to a camera and know that someone is going to be seeing this. I don't mind that at all. But when you put me on the spot and I'm supposed to somehow behave in a certain way that is expected of me, I always think that I'm falling short. Whereas when I'm not in an employee situation, like in the last 8 months, I don't feel that way anymore. Like, because I get to invent what I want to be doing, I decide that today I'm more of an engineer, that tomorrow I'm more of a designer, the day after I'm more of a marketer. In any case, it doesn't matter because no one is looking except for these videos where I'm deciding to speak as a matter of fact in that role for that day. And I really like that. I feel like that's me, that's the way I like to work, and not the employment model or even the co-founder model, because it again puts me into a box. And so my chief suspicion on why I developed anxiety is that I feel inadequate when I am expected to perform a role, but I'm perfectly confident when nobody's telling me what to do and I get to decide what I want or should be doing. But that's what I think. I think that's my chief suspicion, and I think that's potentially something that applies to many people. I want to give myself a bit more time to think about this. That's effectively what I told my friend as well, that I don't want to rush into this. I need a little bit of more time to think whether I can commit to this or whether I don't want to commit to this and prefer to stay solo and nimble. Okay, if there's anything here that you took away, please leave a comment below so that I know what sticks and what doesn't. And also give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do if you want to see more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!